Following the devastating effects of recent flooding across Nigeria, the House of Representatives has called on President Muhammadu Buhari to make an urgent request for 100 billion naira supplementary budget or more from the National Assembly as intervention fund for mitigation, recovery and relief programs across the country. The lawmakers also urged the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning, as well as the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, to immediately release the sum of 5 billion naira into the already created Special Ecological Fund account of each state of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory to mitigate the effect of the flooding. Arise analyst Kayode Otitoju is here with us for his comments on these requests by the Revs. Good day, sir, and a warm welcome to Newsday.
Good evening.
All right, let's get straight into it. You know, when we think of accounting, we think of balancing our books and reconciliation of accounts. We already know that roughly 1 trillion naira, that's representing 2.2% of the total budget for 2018, 2019 and 2023, was budgeted for ecological and disaster management, and a big chunk of it was already released to the states. Should we be talking about making requests for more money before we've seen a statement of accounts that accounts for how all of this other money has been spent?
Well, yes, there should be statement of account on expenditure, but that doesn't affect this request, this extra budgetary request, and the projection, you know, for 2023, because we didn't contemplate the extent of flooding that we are experiencing, that we are still experiencing now. And in order to safeguard against future or to mitigate the effect of the flooding right now, then I think the legislators are in the right direction. And they said, okay, 5 billion should be released now in order to take care of the immediate problem in the short run. While in the appropriation for 2023, there should be about 200 billion, at least between 100 and 200 billion. You know, as extra, as addition to the ecological fund to maybe find a permanent solution to this perennial flooding, because it keeps on, you know, getting bad. In 2012, it wasn't this bad, though about 2,000 people were displaced then, and many lives lost. But now we are talking of millions of people being displaced, and
600 lives,
and life, then even food, because the plants and the aquatic animals all are now, you know, floating. Instead of swimming in the pond, the fish in the ponds are now floating and getting disarrayed, you know. So I think it is a good step in the right direction.
It's a great step indeed, but Mr. Otitoju, let's go back to how the kind of response we saw from President Buhari once this, you know, disaster commenced, when we had governors appealing for, you know, intervention from the president. I'm just wondering how quickly you think he'll respond, and if he will actually respond, you know, in the direction to which they actually hope that he would, as opposed to shutting it down. Is this much of a priority for him based on what we saw recently?
You know, this involves life and involves food. So it should be a priority, because after, you know, food, shelter, and what's it called?
Clothing.
Clothing. And it's even difficult now to clothe, you know, in flood devastated area. You know, so it's highest priority. And I think they are making, you know, demand for at least, you know, 5 billion per state. Because really, hardly is there any state out of 36 states. I think about 33
Yes.
are affected. But, the extent and the gravity, not the same. And that's why I disagree with the Minister of Humanitarian, saying that Jigawa is worse hit than Bayelsa. You get my point. So, if money is to be given, is it going to be equally again? Is what is going to Bayelsa going to be the same as what is going to Ekiti? You get my point? I hope people should not, when it comes to this type of thing, things should be done proportionately, not equal, based on the equality of states or whatever. So, nearly every state requires, the ones that are not hit now, they require prevention.
I'm glad you're talking about the distribution of these funds, because currently, of course, you have funds that go to the states themselves, then to the local governments, and then above and beyond that, the federal government, of course, has their own percentage that they take. Of that, the federal government shares with NEMA, which takes 20% of their share, and the Northeast Development Commission, the National Agricultural Land Development Authority, and the National Agency for the Great Green Wall. So it's the ecological fund is shared amongst these people. Now, do you think that maybe we're getting to a stage where we need to give more importance to the specialized agencies whose business, whose objective of existence is to focus on these issues? Does this money really need to go through state governments?
You see, I like you for that, because the first time we discussed flooding here, I mentioned that federal government has to take the bull by the horn. The River Niger had to be dredged, and it can be dredged under this segregated, effort from the state governors that have their state, within the embankment of River Niger. Government has to create what I termed Tennessee Valley Authority type of thing. Tennessee Valley Authority is a development area or developed area that cuts across about 1,049 kilometers, along the length of Tennessee River before it discharges to Ohio River. And within that, the widest area is up to 1 kilometer. And this is developed to the extent that at the end, when Roosevelt in 1933 gave the go-ahead, just as what we are expecting our president to do now, it started generating, apart from navigation, in fact, almost about 33,000 barges, ply the Tennessee River per annum, which is equivalent of, 2 million trailers. So that can give you, idea of the type of freight, that are moving, on the waterway. Okay? Then it generates electricity, because there are about 7 dams along it. Generates electricity, and the catchment area, which is about 2 million square 2 million square kilometer square, well developed. It generates employment with good settlement, because the Tennessee Valley was as rural as the Niger Delta before Roosevelt, took control and did it. The same thing, River Nile. Until 1960, Nile used to overflow its bank. But when President Nasser, came in, they built the dam. What's the name of this dam now? Aswan.
Okay, the Aswani Dam. Yeah.
And that curtailed the flowing and regulate the flowing of the river. And the three countries that are really participants, that's Egypt, I forgot it. Three countries that are participants and owe, their life to Nile. They made sure that actually since 1970, there haven't been flooding of Nile. They use it to advantage. Agriculture, navigation, name it. So once the president or the federal government takes this thing as a major project and get a body that will be responsible, not Minister of Humanitarian or Minister of Ecological, or, do something like that and give what you expect. Because at the end of the day, it's like it's over $9 billion is generated along Tennessee Valley per annum.
It's a big opportunity.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Kayode Otitoju. We appreciate your analysis and we thank you for your time.
Thank you.